morning. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, universe. Good morning, sunshines. I hope everybody is having a blessed Monday morning. For some of y'all, it's Sunday Monday because it's late at night. Good morning, learning. Good morning, beautiful. How are you today? Hey, Gordo Poppy. I know it's your morning, night. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Organized Chaos and I'm very excited because my 50 devotions are all finally uploaded. My last devotion will independently go, premiere? It'll premiere Friday. So that means for 50 days this summer, I have had the independent devotions and I feel like summer has just really flown by, you guys. It's August the 1st. I am an educator, and yeah, school starts this month for me personally, and then the kids come back at the end of the month, baby. Yes, we know it's your morning, night, morning, good night, morning, Sunday, Monday. So yeah, you guys, and if you are a frequent flyer on my channel, you know I have gotten a promotion. I will be leaving my current district, going to a new district with a new position as an assistant principal. That means my job will actually start earlier than even the teachers that go back. So I go back to work next week. Actually, August the 10th is my official first day, tentatively. And so I have scheduled all of my lives through August the 10th so that I can wrap up all of these wonderful books that I started. The only one, no. The way that I scheduled them, I scheduled them all this morning. I will have everything finished except the Gentle Woman. So I will have one of those inserted on August the 9th, and then I will move that book to weekends, and then I will get back into my We All Deserve to Be Remembered, and some other things that I usually do on my channel, but those will only be on the weekends starting August 10th. Thank you, boo. Thanks, Gordo. I appreciate you. And thank you so much for sharing my channel on your channel. I don't know how you guys feel. Gordo's channel it's a very interesting place. Gordo, I found you because of HP. And your channel is very interesting to me because I just learned stuff. The young people and what y'all do on YouTube, I just find it really interesting. It's hilarious at times. It's just interesting at times. I just love it. I like being in different spaces. I like learning from different content creators. And I just like seeing what other people do in different spaces. So I thank you for sharing me in your space. Let me see. You know what? I'm about to put you up here too, Gordo. Where is your channel at? I got a list of channels that I usually preload. But if you guys are interested in a little messy and a little interesting, go over there to Gordo's channel and support my boy. All right, y'all. So let's get into it. Some of this is a snooze. I'm not going to lie. Some of this is a snooze. So I'm going to muffle and run through a lot of this. And that's why I'm going to hopefully get through 5 chapters today in Dr. Eadie's book. Because, child, I don't even know what some of this stuff he's talking about. And I'm not about to read all of this. I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this. So just bear with me as much as you can. All right, we are starting with chapter 24, the Glycemic Index. The Glycemic Index, or GI, is a numerical value assigned to carbohydrates, which are long sugar chains. This ranking, initially created for diabetics, should be used by everyone in order to control hunger, stabilize blood sugar levels, and prevent insulin resistance and diabetes. The GI of a particular food is usually based on how fast the particular food is broken down and thus increases your blood sugar levels. The GI is compared to sugar, which is glucose, since it is thought to have the highest GI out of the foods we commonly eat. Therefore, glucose is given the value of 100. Foods with high GI indexes will raise blood sugar levels rapidly. On the other hand, foods with low GI scores will release their sugars into the blood at a slower rate. The lower the GI is for a particular food, the healthier it is because the slower it is broken down and the slower your blood sugar increases. It is therefore important that you have an idea of the glycemic index values of the variety of foods you consume. The act of eating should be looked upon as a behavior necessary to maintain life and not as an act of pleasure. But y'all, all the cooking shows tell us that it needs to be beautiful, it needs to look a certain way, and it needs to be, pleasurable to the eyes and the palate. Dr. Eadie says, it's a behavior necessary to maintain life. The food you eat should be chosen meticulously out of self respect and with a great deal of knowledge. You were given taste buds so that you would get a sense of enjoyment out of eating, differentiate between different foods, and to entice you to continue to eat. However, it is easy to become consumed with the taste of food, and this gluttony leads to poor choices, unhealthiness, and a shortened lifespan. The illnesses that result from food obsession are often preceded by undesirable symptoms such as postprandial fatigue, weakness, lightheadedness, episodes of low blood sugars, weight gain, and depression. Oftentimes, this is a result of the excessive consumption of carbohydrates with a high GI over a long period of time. How one is affected by high GI foods depends upon factors that influence the digestion and absorption rate of the particular food. Some of the factors are the age of the food, which is ripeness, the serving size, the degree of processing, the manner of preparation, the time of the day consumed, your health status, and your metabolism. Child, when I was bigger, I used to say I was bigger because I had a low metabolism. And then I went to the doctor and had them check my metabolism. They was like, girl, it ain't nothing wrong with your metabolism. I was like, girl, check my thyroid. They was like, girl, it ain't nothing wrong with your thyroid. Mm-mm. Foods with high glycemic indexes stimulate the pancreas to produce high levels of insulin. This rise in blood insulin levels quickly lower the blood sugar levels as the sugar is moved into the cells for energy. As the blood sugar drops, there is a subsequent drop in blood insulin levels as well. It is this rapid drop in insulin that starts the formation of fat. Once insulin levels are equal to or below the GI threshold, your brain responds by igniting the hunger cascade. Eating more high GI foods begets more hunger, overweight, and obesity. You are then introduced to early or unnecessary coronary artery diseases, strokes, kidney failure, and cancers, to name a few. All right, these next few pages, he's telling us the glycemic index of common foods. So I'll give you his metric that he has in here, and then I'll just pick a couple of the lows, the mediums, and the highs. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. So low glycemic index foods are less than 55. The ones that are less than 55, he has bakery products, which is pound cake. I'm guessing just a slice, not the whole cake, ladies and gentlemen. He has fruits, which are like bananas, kiwi, grapes. He has beverages like soy milk, apple juice, breads, multigrain, whole grain, cereals, brands, cereal grains like barley and rye, dairy foods like low-fat ice cream, skimmed milk. He has pastas like macaroni and white spaghetti. He has root crop like sweet potatoes and yams, sweets and snack foods like M&Ms. Again, serving sizes are important. Hey, serving sizes, jams and marmalades. He has soups, canned tomato and lentils, vegetables. He has a ton of them. I'm not going through all of them. Good morning, Foxy and family. Good morning, Sunshine. Good morning on my way to work. All crazy. All right. Then he has medium glycemic index food. These are between 55 and 70. The mediums are bakery products like Danish pastries, unsweetened muffins, tart cakes, biscuits, breads like pita bread, white bread, cheese pizza. Child, let me tell you, I love me some cheese pizza. Let me tell you how I eat cheese pizza now, though, because I don't like to eat the whole slice. I'm such a weirdo. I take the end of it because I like crispy food. I just eat the crust and I pull off like half of the cheese and put it on top of the end of the crust. And I eat that, and that's it. That's all. I don't eat the whole piece. That's it. That's all. Just gotta taste the food. You can't have all of it no more if we want to maintain the weight loss, girl. And we do. We like this size. He has cereal grains like brown rice, wild rice, dairy foods. He has ice cream, fruit cocktails, mangoes, pastas, macaroni cheese pasta, durum wheat spaghetti. He has root crop like boiled potatoes, new potatoes, sweets and snack foods like popcorn, Mars bar, table sugar, soups like canned black beans. Then he gives us the high glycemic index foods. These are more than 70. These are the cautionary products like bakery products such as waffles and donuts. Donuts are the devil, y'all. You are literally eating fried dough. And I don't necessarily love donuts, but let me tell y'all the fried dough that I do love. Elephant ears. And what's the other ones I love? I like elephant ears and I like the spiral ones. What are those called? I can't think of it, child. I'm gonna think of it then when I'm not trying to. I like those with the powdered sugar on them at the fair. That when you get those two things, I love those. Those are my things. Biscuits, water biscuits. I don't even know what that is. And rice cakes. My big mama used to make fried like a deep fried cornbread. Girl, them things is good. Breakfast cereals like golden grams and puffed wheats. Cereal grains like millet. Fruits like watermelon is high. Ooh, I didn't know that. Brown rice pasta is high. Chips, we know those are terrible. Chips and fries are the devil. Microwave potatoes, instant potatoes. Potatoes can be problematic. Sweets and snack foods like corn chips, jelly beans, vegetable and beans like broad beans. And then he gives us a summary. In short, low GI foods are slower to digest, so you feel satiated or full longer. This is exactly what you need to lose weight. Eat less and live longer. Keeping your blood insulin levels low inhibits the formation of fat and assists in the conversion of fat back into energy. This is how low GI foods help you lose weight. Choosing low glycemic foods more often than not is a sure way to maintain your ideal body weight forever. Forever and ever. All right. Chapter 25. Now, this is really important. I'm going to tell y'all one thing that's really interesting to me. I usually so listen, I do have a problem and I don't suggest that everybody do this, but I am a little OCD about certain things in my life. I can get on the scale every single day. I weigh myself every single morning, literally, except when I go out of town and I can't find the scale in the hotel. So one of the things I noticed is that if I don't get enough sleep, my weight is higher than if I do get enough sleep. It is the most interesting thing to me. So this chapter is about sleep. Sleep is really important to maintaining a healthy weight and a healthy lifestyle. When people talk about sleep, I'll sleep when I'm dead, absolutely not. You cannot function properly in life without the proper amount of sleep. It is just necessary. It is a priority to get enough sleep. Let's see what Dr. Eadie says about sleep. The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eats little or much. Ecclesiastes 5 and 12. There is a direct correlation between how much sleep one gets and one's total body weight. Sleep can be considered a state of decreased consciousness and physical activity which normally occurs at night. It is the time when man and other animals slows down so that their bodies can undergo repairs. Sleep is necessary for the maintenance and rejuvenation of mental and physical health. The sleep cycle involves distinct phases that alternate cyclically from light sleep to deep, then deeper and deepest sleep throughout the sleep period. At least one third of our life is spent sleeping. One third of 24 hours is 8 hours. Hence, the recommendation that the ideal amount of daily sleep is 8 hours. I'm not going to lie, I do not sleep for 8 hours. I might get, let me see, I usually go to bed or I don't go to sleep. I get in the bed somewhere between 8 and 9. So if I go to bed or fall asleep like 10ish or 11ish, I might get 6 hours of sleep, y'all. I literally automatically wake up. My body, even without an alarm clock, I wake up somewhere between 3 and 4 o'clock on a good day. I might wake up at 2:30, but I do wake up really early in the morning. It's just my body clock. According to a University of Chicago Chronicle article entitled Lack of Sleep Alters Hormones and Metabolism, the average night's sleep decreased from about 9 hours in 1910 to about 7.5 hours in 1975. If this truly reflects a downward trend as they claim, what do you think the average night's sleep was 6 billion years ago? Scientists found that depriving rats of sleep led to their early demise. Child, that's why people in Vegas go crazy because they want you to stay up all day and night. You don't know if it's day or night, girl. Let me tell you, they had a green light shining in our room, and if we left the blinds open, we was up all night. Listen, we did an experiment. Me and Foxy did an experiment in the room. We left the blind as soon as we closed them. We went to sleep. But when them things was open, y'all go to Vegas, go to sleep. In fact, without any sleep, they didn't live for longer than a few weeks. They lost their ability to maintain cognitive, which is your thought process, body temperature, and a normal immune system. They eventually became overwhelmed with infection and died. According to the National Sleep Foundation CEO Richard L. Galula, obesity has become an epidemic in this country, and so has sleep deprivation. Yeah, because it's a trend to work hard and don't sleep. I'm grinding and I don't sleep. Absolutely not. Get you some rest. Please, thank you, and very much. We now believe that these two are linked more closely than we thought, and the National Sleep Foundation 2002 Sleep in America poll found that a significant number of adults, 39%, get less than the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep on weeknights. And nearly one quarter reported they were more likely to eat more, absolutely, because you're trying to stay awake when they didn't get enough sleep. I remember when I was younger, y'all already know, we went to the club, we had a few drinky drinks, and then after the club, if you live in the great state of Michigan, we went to White Castles, girl. Or we went to, where's that breakfast place? We went to have breakfast late at night because they stayed open all night. Yep, get some sleep. It has been found that when you don't get enough sleep, your body has too little leptin. Okay, here he is with his doctorials, and too much ghrelin. It's spelled Ghrelin, you guys. Yes, this link between sleep and obesity seems odd to be related to a hormone called leptin and a hormone called ghrelin. Leptin is a hormone produced by fat cells. I'm not even going to try to say this name that's in parentheses. I'm going to spell it for you. AD. Yes, I am, because I already tell y'all how I treat my children in my classroom. Girl, sound it out. Adipocytes. 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 that regulates the amount of food you want to eat and the amount of energy burned within your body. In other words, leptin interacts with your brain, specifically at the hypothalamus and the thyroid gland, and tells it that you have had enough food. Get rid get rid of the sensation of hunger and burns away some of the fat you hate so much. When your body needs to make energy, it converts your stored fat into energy. It is the ideal chemical for metabolism boosting and weight loss. During sleep, leptin levels increase, telling your brain you have plenty of energy for the time being and there's no need to trigger the feeling of hunger or the burning of calories. Basically, when you're sleeping, you're fasting. When you're sleeping, you're fasting. It's probably the longest amount of time that you don't eat, literally, unless you intentionally fast throughout your waking hours. Your sleep hours are your fasting hours. When you don't get your 8 hours of sleep, you end up with too little leptin in your body, which, through a series of steps, makes your brain think you don't have enough energy for your needs. So your brain tells you that you are hungry, even though you don't actually need food at that time. Your body then goes into starvation mode and you begin to store everything you eat. The decrease in leptin brought on by sleep deprivation can result in a constant feeling of hunger and a general slowdown of your metabolism and hence weight gain. Overweight, then obesity. Is lack of sleep making you fat? Ghrelin, on the other hand, is produced by the stomach and increases hunger and fat storage in the body. It actually does the exact opposite of leptin. In a state of sleep deprivation, your stomach produces excess ghrelin. It tells the brain that it is hungry to stop breaking down your stored fat and make as much fat as it can. With adequate sleep, ghrelin levels decrease and your metabolic functions increase. Therefore, you burn fat and aren't hungry. Why does this sleep hunger correlation even exist? When your ancestors began to mobilize out of Africa in search of animal herds, more fertile soil, and decent climates, the winter months meant shorter days, longer nights, and less food. Man, therefore, needed to develop an evolutionary process to allow him to burn fewer calories since he spent more hours sleeping. With the grace of God, we began to produce leptin and ghrelin. This allowed us to keep our weight and hunger in check. Today, we are not the resting humans that our bodies have evolved into and expect us to be. The lack of sleep could be contributing to our community's epidemic of obesity. Resting has got to be godly, as even God rested. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh from all his work which he had made. Genesis 2 and 2. Chapter 26, the plant, God's medicine. All right, this is one of our longer chapters for today, but we're going to get through it. And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat, whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months. Because of their waters, they issued out the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine. Ezekiel 47 and 12. Herbal medicine is the oldest form of healthcare known to all of mankind. Herbs have been used by all cultures throughout the history of man. It is estimated that over 4 billion people, 80% of the world's population, use a form of herbal medicine for some aspect of their primary health care. An herb is a plant whose stem not woody or persistent. In some cultures, herbs are used to treat a variety of disorders, ranging from the common cold to sexually transmitted diseases and diabetes. Child, as soon as I saw that word, sexually transmitted diseases, all I could see was monkeypox. What is going on in the world? We got seat cousin, we got the monkey. What girl? Child, don't touch people, keep your mask on, and isolate. Oh, goodness gracious. The oldest known written records detailing the use of herbs in the treatment of illness are the Mesopotamian clay tablet writings and the Egyptian papyrus. I just watched a history documentary about the Mesopotamians, and it was another one. And how, listen, don't get me started with my history channel, and how these people, the dimension that we're in, and how they intentionally went to a different dimension. So, on Kendrick Lamar's new album, um, Ghostface tells us that this is the fifth dimension. Child, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Girl, I might have to do some of that I might have to create a different space on here and talk about some of that stuff because I believe in all of the things. I do. Africans have been using herbal medicines well before they began recording these God given practices. It was about 4000 BC when King Assurbanipal of Samaria ordered the compilation of the first known Materia Medica, an ancient form of today's United States pharmacopoeia, a government published book containing descriptions of drugs. It contains some 250 herbal drugs, including garlic, still a favorite of herbal doctors. The Eber's Papyrus, the most important of the preserved Egyptian manuscripts, was written around 1500 BC and includes even earlier herbal information. It contains 876 prescriptions made up of more than 500 different substances, including many herbs. The medicinal parts put forward in this and other African texts form the intellectual foundation of classical medical practice in Rome, Greece, and the Arabic world. All right, on these next one, two, through a lot of other pages, he gives us a chart of ailments and their herbal treatments. I'm going to just go through and pick maybe five because there are a lot that go from the letters A through W. So let me see some of the common ones. So listen, he goes through, let's say, alcoholism. He has an herbal treatment for alcoholism of alfalfa, melissa, and milk thistle. I'm gonna fast forward. I'm gonna find a letter. Let's go through letter C. No, colds. Let's just go to colds. Common colds: bergamot, echinacea, elderflower, ginger, lemon thyme, maidenhair fern, marjoram, pineapple sage, rosehip, rosella, sage, violet, yarrow, yucca, comfrey, alfalfa, and mullein. These are all natural things. So we're not talking about like the vitamin C's and D's and B's, just the naturals. All right, let's go fast forward through to letter F, flu. Yucca, echinacea, ginger, lemon, melissa, sage, and yarrow. A lot of the same things that he have for colds. Let's go. Let's something common. Let's say if you have oily skin, basil, bergamot, alfalfa, and oat straw. I've never heard of oat straw. All right, let's do one more for psoriasis. Um, Clover, parsley, and turmeric. All right. Reading about nature is fine, but if a person walks in the woods and listens carefully, he can learn more than what is in books. Or they speak with the voice of God. This is a quote by George Washington Carver. As the field of medicine began to develop in the United States, plants continued as a mainstay of medicine. The African American culture maintained the use of plants by passing it as a family tradition. But over time, these treasures became lost. What did your grandmother do to combat her pregnancy related nausea and vomiting? Or what did the medicine man give to the village people when he suspected a poisonous snake bite? The only thing I can think about when he talks about like what your grandmother gave you, only thing I can think about is when you had a cold, she would give you a hot toddy, girl. She didn't give me nothing natural. Big Mama gave me a hot toddy. She put a little liquor in that thing so I could go to sleep, girl. It was a hot toddy. And then I'm trying to remember when I had chicken pox when I was a kid. I feel like what she put all over my girl. My mama sent me to my big mama's house. She was like, "Girl, get out of my house. Go over there." And big mama took care of me. And she put and that's why like people my age, y'all, we gotta get the shingle shot. I got my physical coming up. I'm gonna probably get it then. But yeah, I remember, and that wasn't even a natural. It was something pink. Whatever that pink stuff is. I remember having pink stuff all over my little body. The names of many herbs are familiar to many African Americans, but their healing properties are unknown. That's very true. Several of the following commonly used herbs or their healing properties listed in the chart below may not sound familiar to many of us. All right, he's given us another couple of pages of charts. I'm going to go through and pull out just a few. All right, so these are the commonly used names of healing herbs and how they help. So let's go start with the letter A. Let's go to allspice. Allspice, clove, pepper, pimento, Jamaican pepper. Digestive aid. This is how it helps. Digestive aid, anesthetic, pain reliever, and it has been used to treat flatulence for the poop poops and diabetes. That's what it is. Yes, learning that calamine lotion, that pink stuff. Child, girl. Everywhere, all over your body. Calamine lotion. All right. Another commonly used healing herbs. Let's go to the letter C. Catnip, Catsworth, catmint, or field balm. It is excellent for cold symptoms when used as a tea, sedative tranquilizer. It is a digestive aid. It helps with menstruation, cramps. Okay, catnip. I never heard of that for menstruation. Well, I didn't have cramps, so that was that. Usually we just take Motrin. But I'm not one, I really don't like medicine, so that's good to know. All right, let's go to cinnamon. Cinnamon is good for infection prevention, pain relief, digestive aid, and uterine relaxation. I never knew that. I don't think I knew that. Let's go to D. Dandelion. It is good. It is highly recommended for salads. Okay. And Dr. Eadie, what I got to do? How does that help? Add to a bath for prevention of yeast infections, PMS, weight loss, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, cancer prevention, and that's it. Let's go to the letter G, garlic. Stinking rose, a heel law, and the poor man's treacle. It is the world's oldest medicine. It is the world's wonder drug. It helps with wounds, cold symptoms, ringworm, high cholesterol, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure. It reduces blood clots, blood sugar, eliminates lead and heavy metals in the bloodstream, helps leprosy patients, fights cancers, it helps AIDS patients, and many more. All right, let's do one more. I'm going to the end for the letter T, thyme, mother of thyme, commonly, or garden thyme. It helps with infections, digestive aid, menstrual cramps, cough, emphysema, and cuts and wounds. Finally, America is taking a closer look at the herbs in Africa for their medicinal values. For example, a benefit of Pageum plants, is being considered as the treatment for urinary tract infections. Bridelia ferruginous, which is found in eastern and western grasslands, and Indigofera erecta, which is found in tropical areas, are two African shrubs presently being investigated and show promise for the treatment of diabetes. It is in my opinion that physicians have their hands tied when it comes to treating diseases. Medicine has defined appropriate treatments of particular diseases as standard of care. As far as medications are concerned, the pharmaceutical industry defines which medications should be used for each disease. This is determined by the results of the research studies that they conduct. Not treating diseases the way pharmaceutical research suggests could result in a malpractice lawsuit. This multi-billion-dollar industry would never advise that physicians recommend God's natural way of treating illnesses. On the other hand, adequate research on these natural cures has not been conducted to apply them to modern day medicine in this country. They should therefore be used as health aids or supplements instead of first line treatments. In time, they may be used as the drug of choice for many diseases. I believe there is a balance. You have to use what you know. The Google machine is good, but you have to go to a doctor as well. And it's like I know people who try to do all natural, and I know people who are heavily dependent on medications. I just personally believe there's a balance between the two. And the biggest factor is literally just starting with living a healthier lifestyle. If we can just start with mindfully eating healthier, mindfully working out, mindfully educating ourselves about what's good and what's not good, and not overdoing the bad things. It's not that you're not going to do bad things or eat bad things. Nobody is perfect. We are all sinners, right? But just moderation is key. The gluttony that we allow ourselves because we live in a free country and we can do whatever we want to do because we got the right to do, you know what I'm saying? Every and anything we want to do. And the more we grow, the more the 2025, 2030, 2050, it just like the hinges are off. We have no filters. We have no discernment overall. We just live in a nation and our thinking is that YOLO, we only live once, do all of the things. Moderation is key, everybody. Young people, moderation, moderation, moderation. Chapter 27, weight loss. Weight loss. When you sit down to eat with a ruler, consider carefully what is before you and put a knife to your throat if you are a man given to appetite. Proverbs 23, 1 and 2. I am often asked what the Bible or God has to say about being overweight or obese. Let me assure you that God does not want you to be overweight or obese. Not just so you'll feel better about yourself, but because He loves you and He doesn't want you to be burdened with the serious health problems that usually accompany these conditions. Our Bibles also teach us that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, and self control. Against such things there is no law. Galatians chapter 5. Christians may fear placing too much emphasis on the physical at the expense of the spiritual, but neglecting your health can be very bad. When we have no control over our eating habits, we lack the self control that is the fruit of the Spirit. We limit our self love, joy, peace, and happiness as well. The key to this situation is a healthy balance. Along with fresh foods, clean waters and air that we cannot see or smell, we also want strong, healthy bodies. Without taking care of the physical body, it will be difficult to concern ourselves with the spiritual. I'm going to say that again. Without taking care of the physical body, it will be difficult to concern ourselves with the spiritual. Yet many of us are either unaware or in denial. And I'm going to tell you, your favorite pastor is not going to tell you this. Your favorite pastor after church service is going to have some fried chicken, some fried fish, some pasta spaghetti, some bread in the church basement or the church cafeteria or lounge to feed you. Or food trucks are going to be pulling up to feed you. Be mindful. What you put in your body is a part of your spiritual journey. Period. Period. Helping patients lose weight has been one of the most enjoyable aspects in my career. That is not to suggest that successfully treating the 45-year-old male for his first heart attack or the 80-year-old woman for her third stroke doesn't delight me. But these people already have existing disease. Weight loss treatment can prevent not only strokes or heart attacks, but it also saves marriages. Period. Let me tell y'all something. I got to pause right here. Because you already know, especially the manosphere men. Child, listen. I'm not going to say no names. What size are you? What's your weight? What's your dress size? You know what I'm saying? We don't want that to be a factor, but it is. It really is. Men are visual. Like, let's just call the things the things. Well, if he loves me, he'll stay with me. Child, he married a size 4. You are a size 14. It is what it is. He still loves you, but girl, you ain't the same. It's not the same. That man didn't marry that 14, especially if that 14 came within a year or two. Girl, and you done have a kid and you be like 5-year-old, this not still baby weight? Nope. Just call things things. Call the things all of the things. Okay, I'm gonna start over. Let me start. Weight loss treatment can prevent not only strokes or heart attacks, but it also saves marriages, prevents cancers, unravels metabolic disorders, prevents blindness, increases job opportunities. Listen, well, I want to hear this. Increases job opportunities, saves kidneys, increases one's self worth and self esteem, improves fertility, and many other life enhancing states. On a more on a more personal level, the challenge of successfully fighting obesity brings joy, satisfaction, and even hilarity into my life seemingly on a daily basis. Just recently, a 9-year-old boy accompanying his mother on her monthly clinic visit displayed concern about his mother's weight loss. After informing her that she has lost a total of 50 pounds, the boy became bewildered. He looked at us as if we were involved in some type of magic trick. He asked, if my mother lost 50 pounds, what did you do with it? Where did it go? Is it still inside of her? Why can't you find it? The American Obesity Association reports the prevalence of obesity to be higher in African Americans than in whites and Hispanics. In science, obesity is defined as a body mass index greater than 30. A BMI of 25 through 29.9 indicates that one is overweight. A BMI of 18.5 to 24.9 is normal weight. while less than 18.5 is considered underweight. To determine your BMI, one can use the following formula with your weight in pounds and your height in inches. So the BMI formula is weight in pounds over height in inches times height in inches times 703. So he gives us a chart, child. I think I calculated mine. When I read okay, so look, I got a handwritten calculation in here from when I first read this book, y'all. I was 150 pounds when I first read this book. This morning I was 137. I don't even remember what year I got this book. Okay, so he gives us a chart of BMI below 18.5 is underweight. Oh, he already told us that. Okay, so for example, a person who weighs 240 pounds and is 6'3" tall has a BMI of 27.5. A BMI of 27.5 is indicative of an overweight person. So if you are 6'3" and you weigh 220 pounds, you are overweight. So let me see. At this time, when I was 150 pounds, I put 63. My BMI was 26.56, which meant I was overweight. My BMI for 5'3" should have been 25 through 29.9. I'm sure I am normal now, but at that time I was overweight. All right. He gives us some information. Waist to hip ratio. This ratio measures fat distribution and classifies it as gynoid, hips, or pear obesity. It can also be classified as android, beer belly, or apple obesity. Those with such classifications have a higher risk for cardiovascular disease and insulin resistance. A waist circumference of greater than or equal to 40 inches for males and greater than or equal to 35 inches for females also have an increased risk and meets one criteria for the diagnosis of insulin resistance or syndrome X. Technique for measurements. Use a non-stretchable measuring tape. Release any twists or kinks in the tape. The tape should touch skin but never compress the soft tissues. Never take measurements within 1 hour of a large meal. Measure your waist while in the supine, laying on your back. I didn't know that. I usually measure my waist standing up, girl. Position as the panniculus, which is the large accumulation of fatty tissue, will shift downward in your standing position. Always begin your measurement at the natural waistline. Go midway between the palpated iliac crest, which is the top of your hip bone, and the lowest rib margin. This should fall at the mid-axillary line, just below the center of your underarms. The hip circumference is measured while you are standing erect, arms at the side and feet together. Measure the hips at the maximum circumference over the buttocks. Use the chart below based on your gender to determine your health risks. Eat to live longer, waist to hip ratio. I'm not about to read all of that. There's a quote from him, Dr. Eadie. The only weight loss plan that is guaranteed to work forever comes from God's dietary laws. Chapter 28, exercise. And tomorrow we are going to get into our 5-minute mindfulness walking book. So this is good. Exercise. A man in health who is both vigorous and his own should be under no obligatory rules and have no need either for a medical attendant or for a rubber and anointer. His kind of life should afford him variety. He should be now in the country, now in town, and more often about the farm. He should sail, hunt, rest sometimes, but more often take exercise. For whilst inaction weakens the body, work strengthens it. The former brings on premature old age, the latter prolongs youth. A. Cornelius Celsus or Celsus. Exercise, as defined by Hieronymus Mercurialis over 500 years ago, is deliberate and planned movement of the human frame. Let me tell y'all something I was thinking about yesterday when I was riding my bike. So listen, I was thinking about how people in these Apple watches or these watch thingies are trying to get a certain amount of steps in a day, and they are calculating that as exercise. Y'all stop. Stop. That's not exercise. Exercise, just like this says, it is deliberate and planned movement. Your favorite activity tracker and your normal walking behavior is not exercise. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. It's not. It's trickery and it's not helping you do anything. Okay, start over. Exercise, as defined by Hieronymus Mercurial, over 500 years ago, is deliberate and planned movement of the human frame, accompanied by breathlessness and undertaken for the sake of health and fitness. Simply put, exercise means increasing the amount of physical activity more than what our ordinary life demands. I'm going to read that again because I'm going to have some arguments about this Fitbit tracker, Apple monitor thing of it all. It is not. Simply put, exercise means increasing the amount of physical activity more than what our ordinary life demands. Exercise to our ancestors was a way of life, and we know this. As we ran through the tropical forest to capture our avoid animals, demonstrate sportsmanship, climbed trees to gather food, and swam the tides of deep waters, we were exercising. The onset of technological advancements created a more sedentary way of life for human beings. Unfortunately, this increase in inactivity also led to an increase in unhealthiness. Fortunately, man has spent the last 50 years developing ways to stimulate our daily activity from thousands of years ago. If we knew what exercise did for us, or better yet, what the lack of exercise did to us, we might become more active as a people. So he's giving us a lot of benefits of exercise. It reduces your risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, overweight, and obesity. It helps you maintain a normal and healthy weight by increasing your metabolism. It keeps your joints, tendons, and ligaments healthy, which improves mobility. It improves your sleep, baby. It does. You will be sleepy. It lowers your stress and anxiety. It decreases depression. It increases energy and endurance. It curbs appetite and burns calories. Studies have shown that active women have an approximate 30% reduction in breast cancer risk compared with women who are inactive. Following a breast cancer diagnosis, active breast cancer survivors have reduced risk of breast cancer recurrence and prolonged survival. It strengthens your heart muscle. A stronger heart can pump more blood with every heartbeat. This means your heart doesn't need to beat as fast during rest or exercise. It improves blood flow to all the parts of your body. A stronger heart muscle pumps more blood more efficiently. It relieves chronic muscle pains and fibromyalgia. Aerobic exercise stimulates the growth of tiny blood vessels in your muscles. This helps your body deliver oxygen to your muscles more efficiently and removes irritating metabolic waste products such as lactic acid. It builds strong bones. Weight bearing aerobic exercise, such as walking, can reduce your risk of osteoporosis and its complications. Low impact aerobic exercises such as swimming, cycling, and pool exercises can help keep you fit without putting excessive stress on your joints, making these exercises good choices if you have arthritis. All forms of increased physical activity will benefit everyone, regardless of your age, gender, and past medical history. All exercise programs should begin only after receiving clearance and recommendations from your physician. In particular, you should consult your doctor prior to starting an exercise regimen if you have heart disease, high blood pressure, or arthritis, and if you ever experience chest pains or dizziness. Exercise programs should always begin slowly with a gradual increase in intensity and duration. When developing your exercise regimen, a few things should be considered. Choose an exercise that you will enjoy and that suits you physically. For example, one with arthritis may choose swimming. Find a partner or a group of people. Choose a safe and comfortable environment. Don't have the no pain, no gain mentality. Make your workout as fun as possible. Be patient. I'm going to read what he says about being patient. It can take weeks to months before you notice significant benefits from exercising, y'all. Please be patient with yourself and your body, especially if this is new to you, especially if you know you've been treating your body poorly. It's not going to be a miraculous overnight transformation. It takes time. Consider keeping an activity log. Recording your activities allows you to appreciate your progress and vary your exercises. Where do I begin? Deciding what exercise to start with is always a challenge. The best answer to the question is start with exercises that you are sure to do regularly. Spreading out your exercises throughout the week yields far greater benefits than doing them in one setting. Also, exercises that increase your heart rate and move large muscles are more beneficial. You should engage in moderate intensity, uh, wait, intensity for at least 30 minutes for 5 or more days a week. So basically, 5 days a week, you should work out for at least 30 minutes. This is a focused workout. Remember, this is not your wristband watch telling you that you walked a million steps today. 30 minutes of focused activity is what you should do at least 5 days a week. Eventually, you may want to engage in vigorous intensity physical activity 3 or more days per week for 20 or more minutes per session. Remember, it's never too late to start an active lifestyle. No matter how unfit you look or feel, or how long you have been inactive, research proves that starting a more active lifestyle right now, today, will improve your quality of life. How can I prevent an injury? You should always start an exercise session with a gradual warm up, period. Take 5 to 10 minutes to first slowly stretch the muscles you plan to exercise, then increase activity for each muscle group. After your exercise is complete, allow your muscles to cool down by stretching them again. I will admit, I do not like the stretching part of the exercising, and I need to do better. I am a dancer, I'm a trained dancer. I know the benefits of warming up and cooling down. I just don't like it. Mm. Always restretch the same muscles used in warm up. The cool down period should be at least 10 to 15 minutes long. The safest way to prevent an injury is to make sure you don't do too much too soon. Always start with an exercise weight that is fairly easy to you. After your muscles become more familiar with exercise, then gradually increase the intensity. As you increase your activity, start to measure your heart rate, number of heartbeats per minute. Try to keep your heart rate at about 60 to 85% of your maximum heart rate. This is called your target heart rate. Then he gives us these ages or ranges. I'm not going through all of that. When you first start your exercise program, you may want to use the lower number, 60%, to calculate your target heart rate. Then, as your conditioning gradually increases, you may want to use the higher number, 85%, to calculate your target heart rate. The range is also a good goal for your heart rate. Check your pulse by gently resting your index and middle fingers on the side of your neck. Let me tell you something. I ain't never understood the whole heart rate, resting heart rate, moving. I ain't never, ever, ever. And counting the beats for 60 seconds. Use a watch with the second hand to time the minute. What are the best types of exercises to do? Exercises are easily broken up into two categories, aerobic and strength training. I suggest you go. Aerobic exercise is a type that moves large muscle groups and causes your heart to work harder and pump blood faster while taking deeper breaths. The word aerobic refers to improving oxygen consumption within your body. Aerobic exercise helps you live a healthier and longer life. Your body is a complex machine that will get stronger and work more efficiently as it adapts to a regular program of aerobic exercise. When you are aerobically fit, your body takes in and uses oxygen to sustain movement more efficiently. To do this, your body takes in more oxygen, pumps blood faster and more forcefully, increases the diameter and number of small blood vessels, avoids overheating, and releases endorphins. Recommended aerobic exercises. Walking. Listen, y'all, if y'all can't do nothing else, walk, walk, walk for 30 minutes. Focused walking a day. Aerobic dancing, swimming, bicycling, cross-country skiing, running, jogging, aquatic exercises, dancing, stair climbing, elliptical training, and rowing. What is strength training exercises? I'm not about to read all of this. We already know what it is. Lifting weights, focus. So I'm going to skip past that and I'm going to go to the last chapter because we are a little over an hour and I try to keep these at about an hour and this one is really short. So let's do it. Chapter 29, fasting. But even now, says the Lord, repent sincerely and return to me with fasting. Joel 2 and 12. The English word fasting is derived from the Greek word nestia. Nestia is a compound of ne and estoia, which means to eat. Hence, the basic root of the word simply means not to eat. Historically, the first person my research found that participated in abstinence from food for a specific purpose was the biblical prophet named Moses. The ninth chapter of the book of Deuteronomy reminds us that when Moses climbed up the mountain to receive the commandments, he stayed there for 40 days and 40 nights without eating or drinking anything. Fasting is often combined with prayer and represents a spiritual sacrifice while focusing on God and improving your relation with Him. The Old Testament describes a day where God commanded the Israelites to fast. This day was called the Day of Atonement and was the day of confession for previous sins committed. Many people continue to do spiritual fasting while mourning someone's death, repenting and confessing in a situation of impending danger, in need of godly direction, and under the instructions of church leaders. Fasting is often done in secret, as recommended in Matthew 6 and 18, so that others cannot know that you are fasting. Only your Father, who is unseen, will know, and your Father, who sees what you do in private, will reward you. Fasting has also been incorporated in the lives of many for other reasons. From a nutrition standpoint, fasting is used as a form of cleansing and detoxification. In spiritual nutrition and the Rainbow Diet, Gabrielle Cousins, MD, a California physician and spiritual teacher, describes fasting experience. Fasting in a large context means to abstain from that which is toxic to mind, body, and soul. A way to understand this is that fasting is the elimination of physical, emotional, and mental toxins from our organism, rather than simply cutting down on or stopping food intake. From a medical standpoint, fasting is thought to be a method of natural healing. We can appreciate this by observing animals and how they do not eat when they are sick. Conditions for which fasting may be beneficial to man include colds, flu, environmental allergies, asthma, insomnia, skin diseases, coronary artery disease, uh, angina, bronchitis, headache, constipation, hypertension, diabetes, fatigue, back pain, epilepsy, diarrhea, food allergies, mental illness, and obesity. Every February since 1999, I have avoided eating chicken, turkey, and fish. Incidentally, I have been on a permanent beef and pork fast for almost 20 years. I have been on a beef and pork fast. What was the year? My junior year of college, 1993. Since 1993. This is me talking, y'all. I haven't eaten beef or pork since 1993. My personal experience with fasting has been enlightening. First of all, it allows me to exercise mental strength and discipline. It does. Fasting does require discipline. Literally all of this. I think all of this mindfulness that I've been reading about, all of it requires a certain level of discipline. And sometimes as human beings, we just don't want to be disciplined. We want to do what we want to do. Discipline is necessary for life, guys. If you don't have discipline about yourself, you will find yourself in some unwanted situations. You will find yourself being obese. You will find yourself being unhealthy. You will find yourself doing things with individuals and people. You will find yourself not being able to have discernment in your life because you are living with a foggy brain. It reminds me of how emotions can be misinterpreted as hunger. I'm going to read that again. It reminds me of how emotions, and women, we know we are very emotional beings. So if we do not get ourselves disciplined, can you imagine if you are emotional? Excuse me, guys. Hold on one second. If we are emotional beings, that can be misinterpreted as hunger. Differentiating between true hunger and false hunger suddenly becomes obvious. Also, fasting serves as a means of focusing on life challenges that I am faced with. Next, while fasting, I feel a sense of rejuvenation. My body feels lighter, well rested, and more wholesome. Finally, and most importantly, it is an act of sacrifice that allows me to commune with God. To suggest that fasting is perfectly safe would be untrue. The following are some reasons for one to refrain from any fasting activities without a physician's direction. If you have diabetes, if you are underweight, if you are fatigued, if you have a decreased immune system, if you have cardiac arrhythmias, if it is cold weather, if you are pregnant, if you are a nursing mother, pre and post surgery, mental illness, cancers, peptic ulcer disease, nutritional deficiencies. And finally, before we end today's live, some enjoy fasting so much that they may overindulge and go beyond their limits. Just like those in the world that are involuntary fasters, depriving yourself of nutrients can also lead to disease. So he is telling you balance is necessary for every aspect of life. All of this mindfulness, the journey of it all, you guys, it is about moderation. It is about balance, and it is about you becoming one with yourself, with your body, with the God that lives in and resides in you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning into my channel. Please make sure you subscribe, like, and share. I love you. I love you. And I love you. You all have a blessed day. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for some 5-minute mindfulness. Child, it's not going to be 5 minutes. It's going to be longer because we're going to do two. We're going to do two. We're going to do two of the essays. I got to finish that book. I promise. I love you.